Hey guys, in today's video I'm doing in kind of inventory, I guess you can say, of my eyeshadow or my eye and face palettes. Didn't think I had as many until I counted. I have 35 already made palettes. This includes face palettes as well, or little duos, quads, things like that. And then I have 6 Z palettes. There's a couple in here that I do carry in my kit. I thought I would just throw them in here as well, just because sometimes I take them out, sometimes I put them in, you know, interchange, things like that. I did declutter quite a bit in the last couple of years, but then at the end of last year, I went on a shopping spree and I started buying palettes that because it had been a while since I had bought palettes. Not that I'm excusing myself. So I did declutter in the last couple of years quite a bit. I had the Balm palette with the girls. That one I think I gave to my sister-in-law. I had the Urban Decay Naked 3, which is the one that had all the purpley rosy tones. Gave that one to my sister. Have depotted quite a bit of palettes, and I carry those in my kit. The Huda Beauty little smoked palette and the Kat Von D face palette. I'll mention those as well just because I want to try to kind of throw in everything that I have, both in my kit and then in my personal inventory. Some of the things that I carry in my kit I don't tend to use for myself, but sometimes like I'll pull a palette, let's say, I don't know, the Lorac palette or something like that. If I feel like it's something that would look good for a look for whatever I'm working on that day, then I will go ahead and sanitize it and then use it for a film, photo shoot, or whatever. Let me share with you guys what is on my nails right now. I have on Essie's Venture to the Venue, which is one of their little, I think it's crushed crystals or something crystals collection that came out. This one's down to here now and I've only used it twice. The base of this has shrunk quite a bit, and yesterday when I put it on I had to pour a ton of thinner in it in order to make it work because it was so thick. I mean, do you see that? It doesn't even, it's insanely thick. I don't know why that's happening because I recently tried the other one in the collection, which is called Beat of the Moment, and this one's not doing that at all. It's not as thick as this guy here. This one applies so much better. I don't know if it's because of the color difference. Not really sure, but I thought I would mention that. And then on my lips right now, I have on Rimmel's Spice Lip Liner. Just put some chapstick and then put the Spice Lip Liner on. And then the palette that I have on right now is the Lorac palette, which is my Panda palette. All right, let's get into some of the palettes that I don't use very much, and I keep them around for body painting and stuff like that. Actually one of them I do. This guy right here, which is from BH Cosmetics. This is a very old palette, which is why I use it for body painting a lot of the times, because it has a lot of color in it. I don't ever really use this on my face. I only use it on my body. I have used it on my eyes, but the pigmentation is very minimal, so I think it's nice if you're someone who's new to color and would like to try a little bit of color. Those are not as pigmented, so they're a little bit more toned down. I have this palette right here. I don't know the name of it, but it's one of those pro palettes. One of the blushes is actually in one of my Z palettes that's a little bit of a brighter pink. But this guy here, I can use these on the face or on the eyes. They work really, really well. It's either Xena Cosmetics or, I don't think this is Benai, but they don't have names on them. I have a Morphe palette. I don't talk about Morphe too much because there's so much negative controversy going on around the brand that it just turns me off. So this palette is actually in the back of my drawer. I do keep it though to sometimes play around with certain things, but it's not a palette that I talk about on my channel, number one, and it's not a palette that I actually use on my eyes, although I do feel like some of their shimmer shadows in this palette are really nice. Same thing with some of these lighter toned matte shades as well. This is the 35O palette, by the way. This palette right here, I've been slowly working on moving out bronzers and highlighters, whatever it had in it. This is the NYX Highlight and Contour palette. I loved the bronzers in this palette. I used up, I think, a couple, maybe one or two. No, one, and then I want to move out another one, so I moved it out of this little palette. They pop out, which is really nice, but it has some highlighting shades that don't really go with my skin tone. The yellow one's a little bit too chalky for me, so it doesn't really settle very well into the skin. But anyways, let me work on or talk about some of the newer palettes that I've bought, and a couple of them I have played with a couple of times on my eyes, but a lot of these I haven't really tried too much to where I have formed opinions on. I have this Reina Rebelde, which I have not used on my eyes. This guy here I bought because of the art in front of, like, on it. It has a tattooed girl. I think it's super adorable. And it has that pin-up kind of style to it, which I think is cute. This is sold at Target, and the brand is called Reina Rebelde. And the name of this little quad here is called Salvaje. And I love the color of this, but when I swatch this is so stinking dry. But I have not used it on my eyes. So what I want to do, or one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, is because I think I want to incorporate one palette every 2 weeks, or 1 month one palette into my that palette, so that I don't neglect any of my other palettes. So I just thought I would start with an inventory video kind of thing. I have this new one to me that I kind of played with, not too much. Once I came home and I already had a little bit of eyeshadow on, and then I started popping these on my eyes. Wasn't overly impressed with it. This is from Bare Minerals. It's the Gens Nude Copper eyeshadow palette, because I was on the hunt for some copper eyeshadows, and it looks like a beautiful, beautiful palette. Like this little cream shadow here, perfect for my skin to set the eyes before going in with any kind of color. Although lately I haven't been really doing that very much. I've been going in straight into the base without having to set it, because I feel like color pops a little bit more. For instance, like today I really enjoy this eye look using my Lorac palette. I feel like it just neutrally kind of medium tone shadows and stuff like that show up on me a little bit better when I don't set my base. I barely kind of played with this, picked it up, kind of popped it on my lid. Wasn't really impressed by it, but I haven't really done an eye look using this palette. So that's from Bare Minerals. This one I've played with a couple times, and this is my first time trying Tarte shadows, and actually this was my first time trying Bare Minerals shadows as well. This guy here's from Tarte. Highly impressed. Oh my gosh. This is the Double Duty Beauty Shape Your Money Maker. Okay. Because I was on the hunt for bronzy kind of shadows, I picked this guy up. I've used it a couple times. This smells a little bit like chocolate, and I feel like they're going after Too Faced a little bit. And it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, these mattes are great. They blend out so nicely. These shimmers here at the top, really great as well. I used the contour today. I think it's really nice. It takes a little bit of blending, but it is really nice. And then the highlight is on my face today as well. This is a really nice palette for me to try to use it as a travel palette. I think it's so beautiful. And it makes me want to try more of the Tarte shadows. This is from Milani. This is the Bold Obsessions palette. Haven't tried this guy at all. Which is why I want to incorporate these palettes into my that palette, like a one palette kind of situation, because this looks so beautiful. But haven't tried this guy. I have the Narsissis. This is their Wanted palette. I want to try to pick up more NARS palettes. This guy here, look at how beautiful that looks. This, I've used this shadow here. I think it's called Coconut Grove. Oh my god, the best brown, like black and brown shadow that I have out of all of the palettes that I have. It's so good. I have to stop myself from reaching into this brown shadow every time I want to deepen out the crease with a brown shadow. Like today, for instance, I used the one from the Lorac palette, but such a good shadow. It's freaking amazing. The Aucoin Nude Pop palette. This is the only cool tone palette that I have, true cool tone palette, aside from this little shadow here. Super great quality on all of these shadows. I've used all of them. I was going to do a review on this, and then I fell off the wagon. I did a get ready with me. It was a very long get ready with me, but if you guys want to see, actually if you guys want to see a specific video on any of these palettes, let me know. I'll try to do like 2 looks and then review the palette, so that I can go in order of however you guys want. So that's the Aucoin Nude Pop. Let's try these guys here. I have the Nubian 2. I would like to get, I think it's their, it's not their Masquerade, it's a colorful one from Nubian. I really like these palettes, or this one in particular. I think it's really beautiful. Clearly I've used Yaw quite a bit. Really like that. And then this one, which is called Nairobi. Great quality. I do have to spend a little bit of extra time blending, not too much. It's kind of an in-between, but super good quality, great pigmentation. Really like that. I would like to pick up quite a few more palettes this year from this brand. I have the NARS, this is the Provocateur palette, and look at the packaging of this. This is friggin' gorgeous. Look at that. I already did a review in 2 looks on this palette. I'll link it up in the cards. That guy right there. The Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. I've been so tempted to pick up the Sienna one. I think it's the one with all the reddish orangey tones forever, and then I just kind of went away from it and picked up this one instead because I don't have a lot of colors like these, and I have plenty of orangey kind of reddish shadows, especially single ones. But this quality here from Dose of Colors is really good. I want to pick up the Sienna one, and then there's another one that I would like to pick up because the matte formulation of this is insane. Probably one of the best that I have ever tried. The Tamana palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I should get rid of this palette. The formulation from ABH is very irritating to my eyes, and I wish it wasn't. And so I've been wanting to get rid of it, and I don't because I really like this palette. Like, the colors here is beautiful, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it again. I'm just hoping that my eyes become or resist. I don't know. I bought the Subculture, returned it. I bought the Prism palette, returned it because my eyes were just waterworks, irritation galore. It was just so annoying because I really wanted to keep those palettes and I really wanted to use them. This guy here, same like the other one with the no name. This blush is insanely beautiful. Oh my god, so good. Again, you know, for blushes and shadows, I can use these. These are versatile, so I can use them on the face as well as on the eyes, but again, no name. Pretty sure you can buy them at Nigels and one of those stores. My Lorac palette is in my Pan palette. I do have that palette on right now on my eyes. This guy right here. This is my Pan palette. So, little preview of it, which I will be doing a review, not a review, an update on in the next week or so. I have this Becca Afterglow palette. I used to use it and then I put it in my kit, but this guy's almost done. I don't use it on myself anymore. I just specifically keep it in my kit because it is so concise. This is for the Becca Afterglow. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it came with 2 blushes and then 3 highlights. The Too Faced Natural Matte Eyes, I keep this in my kit and I adore it. I love the quality of this. It makes every eye look very, very easy. Very quick and easy. And these are the kind of shades that you tend to use a lot of when you're working on clients anyways. And it's all matte. The Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I don't love this palette. Look at the shades. How light are these? On me, it's just not good. These two are really pretty though. But I only keep it because I love it, no doubt. And Gwen Stefani, I think she's just a beauty, but I only keep it because I like her. The Urban Decay Naked palette. This was one that I was thinking of keeping or putting as a Pan palette, but then I decided against it because everything's a shimmer. Although I do like some of the shades in here. I really like Dark Horse, Smog. Half Baked is pretty. Sidecar is really pretty. And the Sin is really beautiful. Toasted is gorgeous. So this one I will reach for whenever I want like a little shimmer and stuff like that. But paired up maybe with an all matte palette or something. That would be really great. I have found that because mine is very old and pretty much untouched. I haven't really used this palette very much. The formula is not the best. Like, I really like Dark Horse, and yet it doesn't last on my eyes all day. It's just, and I think that's just because of the age of the palette. It's not because of the formula of Urban Decay. I think originally when I used this, I was very impressed by it, but this was ages ago. But with time, the shadows have just gotten very old. And then I think Dark Horse irritates my eyes a little bit. Another Urban Decay palette that I have is the Electric palette. I use this more for body painting as well. I don't technically use this on my eyes. Alright, let's do little smaller palettes here. Well, I mentioned the Reina Rebelde one, but let's mention these. I have this little trio from Wet n Wild, and I think this is called Sweet as Candy. That guy there. I have three more Wet n Wild palettes. I've really neglected my Wet n Wild palettes. Like these two, for instance, I bought and I think it was a year ago, and I've never used them. This is the new packaging for the Comfort Zone palette, although I do have the old packaging and barely use this guy. I don't know. And this guy here is called Not a Basic Peach. I really like their packaging now, and they include more matte shades, which is really cool. So again, you know, would like to use those because they look really beautiful. I have this guy here from Burberry. It's an all bronzy kind of gold little palette, which I have used. I'll reach for one shadow kind of look situation with this guy. I think it's really pretty. I have a couple of Chanel little quads here. This guy here is the one in Tisse Vendome, both of which I've used on my channel, which is really pretty. And the last one is probably my favorite, and I feel like it has the better quality. This guy is in Candeur et Experience, which is the reddish brownie little palette here, and they're all matte. This is freaking awesome. I love this. Again, another one that would be a travel little palette. Let's get into the face palettes. I'm trying to go through quickly because I don't want this video to be an eternity. Alright, I have a little duo here from Makeup Forever, and this guy here is the sculpting kit. I don't think they sell this in store, but it has a highlight and a bronzer or contour powder, and they're both matte. I have the Laura Geller little baked blushes here. This is called Just Blushing, a trio of baked blush shades. These are really, really pretty. I just don't reach for them all that much, but they're really beautiful. So they add the color and they add glow on the cheeks. I mainly use that one in the, I mean, I can use it in the summer, but I feel like these two specifically for me are more for fall winter kind of shades. A newer palette to me that I will be doing a review on is the Smashbox Ablaze Face Palette. And I think I'm going to use it this week, and then my thoughts will be completely formed on this palette. I don't buy a lot of face palettes because I feel like a lot of the times a lot of the shades will not look or show up on my skin, so I kind of hesitate. And there's other face palettes that I would love to try, like a Charlotte Tilbury palette, or who else has a face palette? Somebody else had a face palette and I can't remember now, but I think it was Too Faced. And then I went in store, I want to say it was Too Faced, and not that they wouldn't show up on me, but everything had shimmer, and I mean like chunks of shimmer, and like I don't want to wear all of that on my face. That's a little bit much for me. So anyways, this is the Blaze Face. There was another one, but that one I think it was a California one. I wanted to get that one because I live in Cali, but they were too light for my skin, so I had to hunt this one down. The Becca x Chrissy Teigen palette. This is the one that is on in my Pambat palette. So this guy here and the Lorac palette are the ones that I'm panning this year, and I love this. Like, this is so beautiful. I have this on my face. The bronzer, I have it on my face, as well as the blush. I skipped on the highlights today because I was trying out the one from Tarte. I have the Hourglass Trio. This is the ambient lighting. I love this. If you love glowy skin, you're gonna love this. These are really, really beautiful. Very finely milled little face powders, and I've used them even to highlight the brow bone. Just use it as a highlight. I think they're really beautiful. I have another one of these. This guy here is in Light from e.l.f., the little blush palettes. I love these little blushes. They're so nice. And I have the dark one as well, but I don't know where it went. And this guy here, I have tried it and I really like it. I want to do a separate video on it, like a demo and stuff using these guys. Maybe one day I can do the one highlight and one bronzer, and the other day I'll do another highlight and the other bronzer, so you guys can see them both on the skin. Lastly, let's move on to my Z palettes here. And Z palettes is you know, I have some MAC, I have Makeup Geek, I have Coastal Scents, I have some of my depotted shadows from Lorac. Yeah, it was the Lorac, I think it was the All Gold palette or something. The Balms, Meet Matte Hues, the Huda Beauty stuff, and then just blushes and stuff. So this guy here has the Balm, oh, I can't remember this bronzer, but it's really good. An Inglot shadow, and I think these are Coastal Scents. This guy here has a mixture of Inglot, Makeup Forever, the Lorac Gold here. This is a Makeup Geek blush. I think it's called Peaches or something like that. Nope, Summer Fling, something. Summer Fling, which is really pretty. And then the balm, I have NARS, Benefit. Anyways, and then a Makeup Forever shadow over here that I think is really pretty. I have this guy here. Did I mention this guy? I don't think I did. This guy here has a lot of my Inglot shadows and some Coastal Scents. Some of the balm shadows over here. I want to try to do a little bit more colorful eye looks this year. I like doing them on people, but on myself is a little bit like almost no. This is the palette that I carry in my kit. And I have Inglot shadows, no, that's a NARS shadow. I have a Hoola bronzer, and then these are all right here from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contouring palette. Not my favorite. I don't know what the hype was. It's just not my favorite personally, but I do carry it to make use out of it. Some of the powder, I mean, the powders are nice. They're just not my favorite. Like I want to step up a little bit more next time. And then I have a Tarte blush, Achote, which is beautiful. Goes on almost everybody. It looks amazing almost on everybody. I kid you not. I use it on everybody. Regardless of the undertone, it looks amazing. That's Achote from Tarte. Excuse my doggies. I have this palette here, which was my Panda palette last year, and I still kept everything in. I do reach for it once in a while. Like today I reached for Frappe to mix in with the Lorac palette because I wanted something just a dash warmer. And then a Makeup Forever palette. By the way, NARS makes the Z palettes as well. This is my Z palette. This is my wider palette. It's really nice because you can fit quite a bit of it in here. So if you are familiar with the ones from Sephora, look at how much bigger this is. I love this. And it's concise, so to put it in the kit, it's very helpful. This Makeup Forever, it's a little tin one. They make a smaller one also. But this guy here carries a lot of Inglot shadows. I have some MAC shadows in here. Estelita, be quiet please. Some of the Lorac Gold, a couple of Inglots. I've carried this one in my kit also, and I don't ever find a need for anything else. And these larger pans here are what Makeup Forever single shadows used to be. I think now they look a little bit closer to the Inglot ones, or they're a little bit more squared or something like that. I've yet to try the re-released shadows, but I would like to because their shadow formulation is really good. I think these two here are from Kat Von D. These right here are from Makeup Forever. Okay, I think that's everything. That's a lot. This is the inventory for my eyes and face palettes. I would love to try more face palettes. If you're of my skin tone and you have a face palette that you really enjoy, let me know what it is. Because every time I either go in store or check online, I'm very underwhelmed by them. But I would like to try more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.